Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday 9 a.m. public meeting. We're technical issues over here. While we're at, this is Bailey. She's usually behind the scenes. This is Kelly's taking a vacation day. So this is, I'm ratting her out here. This is her first day out in front. So out in front of the mob. So be kind. Yeah.
It's good. It was just, whenever you move these laptops, sometimes the internet, the Wi-Fi gets automatic turned off.
Okay, but we're good.
I think we're good. You're good, aren't you, Dennis? Yeah.
All right. We're all on. Okay, we want to rise for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Looks like a fairly short agenda today. We'll get through. We'll go through consent agenda here. First item is just an extension of a personal service agreement we have between Cowlitz County and Kyle Abraham of Ogletree Deakins. Just extends it through the end of this year.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
You might want to do the motions.
Oh, minutes.
The minutes
Sorry,
first.
I was ahead of myself.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve. But let me repeat, I did review the minutes last week and I moved to approve those minutes.
Any questions on the minutes? Thank you, Commissioner Weber. Seeing none, I would ask for approval of the minutes. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Okay, we'll get back to the other. Second item on consent agenda is a change order for Quiqq Brothers on the Pacific Avenue North Half Bridge replacement. It basically is a bridge barrier change, how the guardrails connect in amount of $7,500. Third is a amendment to the agreement with the state of Washington Department of Agricultural Affairs program for repairing and replacing the fire suppression system. The expo center had a grant from the state of Washington to replace that. They're just extending the end date on that grant because there's some sprinkler heads that need to be done that would fit within the grant. So the state has agreed to extend that. Interlocal agreement with the Area Agency on Aging and Disabilities of Southwest Washington with our Cowlitz County Treasurer. We do some banking and investment functions for them. They pay us a yearly fee of $1,200 to do that. Two acknowledgement letters from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission acknowledging information we had sent them. And then vouchers in the amount of $1,856,911.16. Any questions on the consent agenda? Seeing none. I would ask for a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve today's consent agenda and the vouchers as presented.
Last chance for questions. I see nobody coming up. I would ask for approval of the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also vote aye. Motion passes. We have one motion item today and it came to us before, and I do want to offer an acknowledgement on that. Commissioner Weber was unavailable for a meeting and this came up, and Commissioner Mortensen thought he would like to weigh in on that instead of we had a difference of opinion on it, and he thought it would be best if Dennis had a chance to weigh in that. So he put a motion to table this till Commissioner Weber was back, and I think that's the right thing to do in those type of cases. So I thank Commissioner Mortensen for making that call back then. So what this is a D.U.I. program that runs through the jail. It was a program that was suspended during COVID. They're looking to start it back up. The participants in the program pay the fee. It's like $100, I think is what it was from before. And what they're asking for is approval to put an RFP out for a provider to start this program back up. So that's what it is. So if there's any questions or comments, you guys.
So I understand that this program would be in alignment with a diversion. So rather than serving time in jail, if they agree to do the education program, the sentence is waived.
I don't think it's a diversion program. It's a one-day thing where they show you pictures of people in car accidents and things like that. And it's like you used to have in high school, best of my understanding. It is a all-day affair. A problem I had with it is I really wanted to see the entire costs. And the claim was that it didn't cost the taxpayer anything, but I don't think that's a valid claim. You don't have to pay if you don't have the $100, so someone has to absorb that. There are supervisory time, there's court time. There are all kinds of things that play into it that we typically don't account for, and maybe we shouldn't, but until I see the hours down on a piece of paper solidly, I think we're at risk of then approving something about which we don't have a complete understanding. And I haven't gotten any additional information.
I see Marin. Do you want to chime in?
I'd be happy to provide those numbers for you. Art, I haven't had a chance to get that together yet. The fee is very seldom waived. What typically would happen if a participant couldn't afford it is a judge may order them to do something instead of the program. So community service or work crew or something along those lines if they're unable to pay. It's possible that it would be waived, but it's not common.
So Marin, is this a program that is unique to Cowlitz County, or is it fairly typical in most jails?
It's actually a program of probation services. So it can be in lieu in jail time, but it really doesn't have much to do with the jail. It is, I believe, fairly unique and something that maybe has been mimicked in other counties, but I think we're one of the first counties to start this 20 plus years ago. And the folks who participate are ordered because they're convicted, or? Correct. So it's typically part of the sentencing for a DUI conviction, a first-time DUI conviction, is to participate in this, to understand the full, magnitude of what a DUI can do, cost-wise, and impact on the community, all of those things, in the hopes that they understand how serious a DUI can be.
And I recall I wanted to get some history and see what the repeat offenders,
Sure.
people going through the program, repeat in, going back a few years, and you told me it would take a while to
Right.
gather all that.
It would take some time. We'd have to run criminal history on each participant, but yeah, which it's doable. It would take some time if you have 12 classes a year with 20-25 participants. And it just will take some time, but we'd be happy to put that together for you.
Yeah.
So the proposal is for us to schedule time for us to consider the request for proposal for July 5th.
Sure, it's a request to put out to ask for proposals to facilitate the class. And then when we have a successful bidder, we would bring the contract back to the board for final approval.
So when will you have the data available to us? I think recidivism is a pretty important
Sure.
statistic to have on these programs.
I would think we could have something together by the time we bring a contract to the board. We could do that in tandem with putting the proposal out if that's what the board would like.
And asking for proposals does not obligate us to pick one. We can still say no to the program
That's correct.
if the data doesn't seem to support it.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, and part of the reason I wouldn't have supported it last time was there's almost this implicit thought that if you support the RFP, you support the program. And I think the more information we have, the more useful it is, but I don't want to deceive anybody. I'd like to see what comes back to us, but so I'm okay with this, but I just want people not to hold me to, you have to approve
Right.
that kind of stuff.
You're asking for, well, all of us are asking for the different information. I did have, and I know it's a small sample, but 2 people come up and tell me they thought the program helped them when they went through it, but that's very small sample.
Yeah.
Questions?
Yeah, actually, on something like that, on anecdotal stuff, I drill down with them and say, were there other things? And of course, the class may have been a seed that then spun off some offshoots that would give fruit to keep them clean. But I doubt the class itself changed anybody's mind. But it doesn't matter.
I'm also particularly interested in the outcome of these programs. My dad was an alcoholic. I watched that, and I will guarantee you no single DUI class was going to make any difference to his outcome. Now, obviously, you probably got some stupid young people that made a terrible mistake, and got themselves in trouble. Obviously, something like that is going to be good for them. But I would be very interested in breaking down the types of people that are coming in, and then what kind of recidivism, if that's the correct term, applies to each one of those classes. I'll guarantee you that somebody who is a long-term alcoholic, this is of no value whatsoever. But some stupid young kid, that just doesn't realize what they're doing, it might have some benefit to them. So I'm particularly interested in the results also.
Hi, guys. I'd like to put my 2 cents in. I also had an alcoholic parent, and I can guarantee you 1-day class will do nothing.
Can you speak into the microphone more?
Okay.
Please? Thank you.
Thanks. I can guarantee that a 1-day class will do absolutely nothing. There'll be, never mind. What I do propose, and I need to give you a little background. My husband at one point in time worked at the juvenile center. Okay, and at that time, they had a work crew from the juvenile center to go out and pick up trash. Okay, if these people do not have the money for this class, which I think it needs to be extended greatly, more than 1 day, and much more intense as well. But if they don't have the money for it, and even if they do, they need to do a community service because they cost us time and effort and money to apprehend them, to bring them to justice. So I propose that they do a community work whether it be pick up garbage, they need to have an incentive to be dry. And the only incentive is from them wanting to be dry for a reason. And peer approval and disapproval has a lot to go around with it. And so, especially if it's an adult, he will not like being out in public where his peers will see him picking up trash. They will know what he's done. And it is the best form. It is the best form of getting a person to acknowledge they have a problem. And so I propose, instead of possibly, you were talking about money, and I know that they pay, or they have the work crew from the juvenile, I think still. And if they don't, I still think that this program should be instituted, only because it would save money through the environment, picking up our trash. And also it would make a great impact on the people that are having these problems. And maybe get them to want to be dry. Thank you.
Just a comment, we're not trying with this program to make people dry. We're just trying to make them not drive intoxicated.
Yeah. Any other questions on this request to put out an RFP? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion if so desired.
I'll go ahead and make the motion, Mr. Chairman. I move that we approve the request for proposal to reinstate the D.U.I program at the Corrections Department.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, I would ask for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marin. Rin? Well, I'll catch her.
She's back.
Yes.
Hang on for just a second, because I'm going to go through something you might want to chime in on this. Is that okay? Okay. Before we get into open discussion, I'll do it, and it's real timely with the last person at the counter, because we heard a lot last week about work crews, inmates being work crews. So I told you at the time, well, I don't know how that all works, but I'd find out about it. So that's what I've done. The first thing to tell you is we have no authority to mandate that. In this state, you cannot mandate. It has to be voluntary. So you can have work crews, but it has to be voluntary. So we don't have the authority to tell them they have to do it. Now, the other question, and why I asked Marin to stay on, is if they have a crew that wants to be voluntary, I don't know how you connect with them, and that would be my question to you, Marin.
So in offender services, we operate a work crew that's at the court's order. So we have people that are court ordered to work crew out of custody currently. We had in custody for many years prior to COVID. We would like to restart in custody, but just sentencing and the way laws have changed, it hasn't made sense yet. So we operate an out of custody work crew. It's not voluntary, I suppose. It's just at the order of the court. And so if they fail to complete the work crew as ordered by a judge, then we report back to the judge and say they didn't do what you told, you told them to do work crew and they didn't do it. And then a judge has a decision to make as to whether they need to do jail time or give them another opportunity on work crew or community service. We operate that as well.
So the judge can force it, but
Correct.
we have no ability to say people in our jail are going to do work.
And most people in jail are not convicted of a crime. So that's an added layer. We can't force people that are pre-trial to do work like that.
So question on that, how many in the jail percentage wise approximately are retrial?
Okay. That's something I have to run manually, but last time I ran it was like 88%. 80 to 90% are not convicted.
Okay, so if I'm in that if I'm in the convicted category, can I volunteer for going outside and picking up trash, that kind of thing?
Historically, when we had in custody work crew, yes, and then they're screened. Some of it is also based on what crime they're in jail for. So if they're in jail for a serious crime, we're not going to have them out in the community doing things. But we have not restarted in custody work crew. We're just still operating out of custody work crew. So it's maybe in lieu of jail time or in addition to jail time, or sometimes it could be used like for drug court. If they have an issue on drug court, then the judge will say, okay, you need to go do a day of work crew, you know, as a form of not punishment, but consequence.
Okay, so people could volunteer, the convicted inmates could volunteer. And then when was the last time we had a work crew out?
We have them 7 days a week.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. How can I tell it's our crew out there?
They're in a Cowlitz County marked van or truck, with a trailer and a porta potty. That's the best way to tell, the trailer and the porta potty.
And that's the van we bought 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 years ago now.
Perhaps it's been a while. No, I think that was a jail vehicle. That was a transport vehicle we bought a few years ago. Yeah, they're just regular vans that the people that are they're lower level criminals, either
Yeah.
way, in custody or out.
Okay. So there's a little clarification on some of that was brought up last week. Don't disagree that we should like to have more, but okay.
Good morning, commissioners. I was wondering, how do they choose the areas where the work crew will be? And can community members request or suggest areas that could really use a work crew?
Sure. Our work crew, they kind of know which areas there's kind of typical dump sites. Oftentimes they'll go there. We also partner with the cities and the school districts to do work that they request. But absolutely, if a citizen knows of an area they'd like to see cleaned up, you can find my number and give us a call, and we'll see if we can get a crew over there.
Thank you.
Maria,
I
do the
was-
work crews work on private property?
No, not on private property. It has to be on public property.
Well, I wonder, do they only pick up trash or do they do like weeding? In
both.
like along Catlin, I noticed
do
in
both.
that new area that they just redeveloped, it's really bad. So that's what brought this question to mind.
So when it's a city land, then we have to kind of work with the city as well. We're
Okay.
not just going to go into a city property and do any work without coordinating with them. But we can look at that. You said where at by
Catlin.
Catlin? Okay.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thanks, Marin. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Open to the public.
Tim's not here, he might get off easy.
Well, this could be a short meeting. I see no hands. Oh, my colleagues, anything you want to chime in on? We're good, all good? Okay,
Good.
I will. They haven't brought that back to us yet. Okay,
Any advertisement about what's happening this afternoon?
there is nothing happening this afternoon.
That's an advertisement.
Yeah. So if you show up at 1:30, we won't be here.
And on Wednesday, what are we doing on Wednesday?
Wednesday, we have budget department is in, solid waste management. Those are the two items, and there's a
Yeah,
closed session for us.
who's doing the solid waste management?
Must be
Staff.
staff. I don't have a particular name. Okay. As always, thanks for participating. We'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you.